Welcome back to Kharak Cup 9 in the lower bracket of the semifinals. We're going to be continuing our coverage for this tournament, obviously. And right now we got a match here between Shrike and that Happy Cat. And I think Shrike has got to be the favored player here, but didn't these two players just play and that Happy Cat beat him? I think that's what happened in the qualifier, if I'm not mistaken. But my expectation is that this game should still go 2-0, because I think Shrike is definitely the better player. He just kind of choked last game like hardcore, so I don't expect to see that again. So yeah, replays in Shrike's perspective. Actually, his opponent going for LAV Fab before him. We tend to see Shrike go for early LAV Fab, so it's a little bit surprising, but... So the map is going to be Torn Crater, and I'm wondering whose pick this is. In fact, I can actually check this real quick. Oh no, my internet's trash, so I can't. Never mind. I don't think it's the Happy Cat's pick, but it might be. And if that's the case, I'm trying to think of like Shrike's previous performance on this particular map and like how well it plays to his playstyle. I can't really think of... I can think of some good games he's won on this one. Yeah, in fact he beat Garmulator on this map, which is pretty impressive. I don't know. I guess if you like to queue up 6 units at the start of the game. Oh yeah, he's gonna cancel too. I like that. Yeah, if you like to attack early, this can be a good map for you. Of course, we like this map for attacking because of like the position of the dunes. I think I talked about that in the last video. But it's also very big, and it seems at first that a small map ought to be better for attacking, but I think actually a big map is better because then you can get the army in places that your opponent's not expecting. It's a lot easier to flank, etc. And we do, by the way, see the spacemen are getting very aggressive moving up to that third base location. I think I was thinking about this. After some games I played with A-Game, and I think the reason that this map is so good for attacking is not actually because it's big or because of the position of the dunes. I think it's this rock right here, right? Because it's very easy to come in on both sides, and this obviously gives you good access to the second, which I think is a powerful thing for attacking in general, but even more than that, it allows you to come in from 2 different angles on that carrier. I think that actually is the biggest reason for it. I mean, you know, we have similar things on Kalash Teeth, but like if this was the main entrance, the back entrance is like this far away, so it's a lot harder to get over there. Whereas on this map, it's very close. LAVs from that Happy Cat can be streaming in over the passage, or no, could you call it a passage? I don't know. They're coming. Gonna try to put some grief down on these salvagers right here. I'm gonna get some pretty good damage on one of them, but gonna rotate and try to take one of the second base salvagers. I think that's probably better. He's going to dive in here now, though. There's LAVs and the carrier, too, but you can stay out of range of the carrier. I think LAVs outrange the range on the carrier. This guy not micro particularly well, but that's kind of alright, I suppose. I think one salvager going to go down here. Interesting split fire there, but I think that one actually worked pretty well. So one salvager gets taken out. The LAV army from Shrike, though, getting very close now, and this it's not ready to put down a turret. It already has. Oh, dear. So I think this is actually pretty good damage being done by that Happy Cat, but he may be in some trouble over here. I'd like to see Shrike get more aggressive with that turret, though, because he had the LAV numbers at that particular moment. He could have taken these. That turret could be like here, and that would allow him to kind of besiege his opponent, force the carrier move out in order to respond, and that's some very good economic damage if you can get that done. Also, Shrike probably wanting to just flip this guy back onto that patch. We'll see if he ends up doing that. LAV's going to get in a bit of a scuffle here, though. This won't be good for that Happy Cat, though, I don't think, if he's attacking underneath the turret. Although this... Oh, he actually surviving. Surprisingly good trades being taken here, I would say, but still not as good as you would expect. Or... That sounds really dumb. That's like a big contradiction. Basically, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, these trades that Happy Cat is taking, but it's still not good. He's going to score an artifact, that's nice. So he's got that carrier power now. Can he go straight into railgun fabrication? But you saw him just stream all those guys against this turret and it lives with 10 HP. That's probably not a good move. I think if you see a turret here from your opponent, I think really your only move is this got to be to not fight it. At least not with LAVs. Once you get the railguns out, you know, maybe you can siege it from range. That's a little tricky though. But yeah, I think probably his best move here would be to save up for a support cruiser and then just push out. Looks like he's going to push out without it. That's alright, though, because he's got this AAV to defend back at home. And I guess he's got AAV fabrication and railgun fabrication, which is kind of surprising. Shrike, meanwhile, is making a sport cruiser of his own. And he's got railgun fabrication finished. So yeah, these AAVs going to make pretty quick work of the LAVs, which is nice. The carry can take out the turret there. But of course, the reason why this is good economic damage is because now these guys have to long distance mine. If you're not careful, you could even lose one like that, yeah, but it's not going to last long enough. Of course, that carry is going to take him out. Base runner is still here, so he's just going to try to move away. And that's actually pretty good bait. This carrier does not want to chase the base runner just because every second he's not there, he's losing mining time. But he is actually going to chase it for a little while here. Probe gets launched but instantly killed. That's pretty funny. And these LEDs can chase down, take out the space burner without too much difficulty. I would have said. Yeah, it'll go down. So Shrike on 2 bases now. Starting to saturate his third before making any army too. So he's gonna get very far ahead if he can get away with this. Getting some upgrades to the LAVs too. Yeah, it looks like it should be a pretty comfortable game for him so far. George of the jungle. That guy's an officer, by the way. I'm thinking of that quote from the movie Downfall. It's like the one where you know all those videos where Hitler's yelling about something, right? It's like it's taken from that movie there. It says like, because you've spent years in military academies just to learn how to hold a knife and fork. I think that's what I think of when I think of this guy. Actually, I was gonna watch that movie recently. Just rent it on YouTube, and I never got around to it. Didn't find any time for it. So Happy Cat is also making his sport cruiser, and that will be moving out pretty soon. But you can tell he's fallen a bit behind that way. Well, I mean, if you can't tell, I don't understand what's wrong with you, because obviously Shrike is on 2 bases and he's not, so that means he's ahead. Is this carrier? No, it says moving close. Okay, that's a good move, actually. I thought he was moving out because he had a support cruiser finishing there, but no, 'tis not the case. And he's starting to make army right as this army is going to approach, which is, I think, basically perfect, right? I'm quite pleased with this. And he shouldn't have any trouble holding this off. I don't know what upgrades are like, though. Actually, yeah, they're better for Shrike as well. So here comes the army from Happy Cat, and they're going to find a nice location. Yeah, that's definitely the right way to go. They probably ought to get, you know, at least a salvager kill here. Maybe 2, maybe? Not totally sure. But then they'll get held off by these AVs. Yeah, so smoke could be used here very effectively, obviously. Good smokes there from Happy Cat. Gonna give him the time to take out that second salvager, and that I don't think was a loss that Shrike needed to take. And, you know, losing the AVs at this point is it's totally fine. In fact, what I would do, I think, is damage 12. Oh. Yeah, rank 1 gives him more damage. Anyway, if I were Happy Cat right here, obviously you're going to get chased until you die. So there's 2 things you can do. You set up a turret right here and try to trap these AAVs, or just leave these guys to die. Actually, if they stay further in here, you're getting more value out of them because you slow your opponent down a bit more. I kind of like both options, actually. Based on where this base runner is moving, I'd say he's going to do it, but he's gotten way too close here. And AAV's immediately going to recognize the threat, so you'd want to smoke this, but he hasn't got any smokes left. Turret actually just now getting set down. I think he didn't have the resources just yet. You see, that thing does some pretty good damage, but it will get taken out eventually. Base runner probably ought to go down too, but he's got enough railguns at home. In fact, wow, he's really got enough railguns at home that he'll be able to handle this. And indeed, Shrike's railgun count is not high enough to push it anyway, nor are they in position, so that's good for him. Shrike going to be making another production, well, that'd be impressive. Support cruiser here, which is obviously a good move. And he's going to be on 3 bases pretty soon. Obviously, I like to see him making salvagers on that side too, but base runner goes down now. It's going to be AAVs, actually. That's interesting. But yeah, here are the rails, and Shrike probably wants to smoke immediately and just get out of there. That's what he's going to do. Smoke use, I think, is a little bit inefficient. You could probably get away with that with just 2 smokes, and that would allow them to smoke again. Which they're going to need to do right now. Smoke comes up to try to save the guy who's wounded, but he goes down anyway. And there are 3 railguns here. So this AAV going to get smacked down. And if the fight oh, it's going to live? Really? That seemed unlikely. But anyway, if the fight continues here, I think Happy Cat's got to take it. His positioning's not great, but okay, no, it's fine now. I said that because he was about to move over this dune and then have only half of his railguns firing, but that's not going to be the case here. This guy just going for some kind of trip, I don't know, in his favorite rocket ship, you know? Yeah, can you believe this? I think Shrike's actually taking this fight. Okay, but he will lose it eventually. Gosh, are they gonna actually shoot at each other? There we go. But yeah, like, all of these guys very damaged now, and these LAV's probably just gonna come in and pick him off. That really didn't need to happen. I think, okay, yeah, that explains it. So he's on armor 1 and Shrike is on armor 3, so that would do it. I was wondering, like, how is he taking this fight so effectively? That should never happen, but yeah, it should if you have this kind of upgrade advantage. Look at a railgun for him. It's got 775 health and 285, no, sorry, 6 armor. These guys here, we got 975 and 9 armor, so they can take like a whole nother shot from one of the railguns. And they do more damage too, because I think, well, they're about to. He's going to get the mag accelerated pretty soon. That's what you want to do if you're starting to go into the phase of the game where you're going to have railgun wars. He's certainly got the money for that. He's on 3 bases here quite comfortably. I think Shrike is just you know, far enough ahead that eventually he's just going to take the momentum here and probably have this game. I think all he really needs to do is just take the macro fight at this point. Which of course means he's got a macro up first, yeah, sure. But he'll get there pretty soon. I like the way he's making AAVs first, though, because he probably recognizes that these LAVs are much more of a threat at the moment. I think these guys got healed. No, wait, no, they all died. Yeah, right. I forgot about that. AAVs, of course, going to take almost no damage at all from these LAVs, so he can do whatever he wants over there. Not quite the same over here, and in fact, with armor 11, damage 17... Yeah, they can actually, like, do damage to these guys. Not very much, though. And these guys here are just gonna die, but they give some good scouting information. You know, we know our opponent's still in this base. We know he's getting air tech, which I actually didn't notice until just now. So, that's fine. Every time I tab over, it zooms in a little further. I don't know. Anyway, air tech is finished, though, so that's an interesting choice. We usually wouldn't see this so late in the game, right? And, Shrike gonna have to go for some AA. Oh, he's already got it, though. Look at that. Good on you, Shrike. He's obviously, blind countering, like, for air, which is not always something we'd approve of, but in this case, hey, it works out well for him. I think he could go for this upgrade now at this point, but, or he could tech to something. But actually, you know what's probably better is start teching into power reserves, and you don't need to get the carry production upgrade. And, I don't think it's a very particularly exciting way to play the game, just getting these power reserves, but it's definitely the right one, honestly, in this particular, like, in the current meta, so... But still, you see people like Descara who dislike it enough that they go for, like, assault crews and artillery and whatever, so, I mean, there's other ways to play it, but... It's gonna be bombers for that Happy Cat. That's a very interesting idea, but it could work for him. We know how unforgiving railgun fights are. Yeah, it's not even going to be finished for another 30 seconds, though, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work. But the missile battery, obviously, is going to be a good counter to air, but if you have a bomber come in, just blow up all these railguns in one shot, then suddenly you can win the railgun war pretty easily. That could actually be really good. Now, I think Shrike here should immediately recognize he needs to smoke. No, he's got the upgrade advantage still, doesn't he? Right, I'm very good at this. Just barely, though, now. They're actually about to get on even upgrades. Yeah, I was saying he should smoke so that his other railguns get into position, but they're here now, so it's time to take that fight. 7 on 6, though, actually. That doesn't look particularly good. Maybe he should smoke and get out. Try to take the fight when his army's bunched up a little bit more. You can see how many AAVs he's losing here, but actually that's kind of working for him because his opponent is not attacking the railguns. Oh, wow, look at that missile battery shot right there. And I think the idea there was, well, if I can kill all the AAVs, then I have free reign on my opponent's railguns, but... Without the damage upgrades, which, yeah, he doesn't have, and also based on the fact that AAVs can constantly be produced from a very close location, I don't think that's ever going to work for him. He'd kind of have to do too much, you know what I mean? And this AAV right here is absolutely brilliant. Just chilling out over there, trying to take out that third base location. It's actually going to give him the scouting information that there is none, which probably is giving him the confidence to just take the macro fight. I noticed he queued up a lot more units once he saw that. He's not going for power reserves, right, and he got that carrier production upgrade. So he knows, well, I don't need to wait at all, I can just take this fight. But if there was a third base here, that would be a very good move. So the bombers almost finished now, and that could actually really be a big deal, like I said. Because if you can get into a proper railgun fight where you're not attacking the AAVs, you're attacking the railguns, if you can just blow up, like, let's say these 5 right here, with, like, the bomber run, which you can do, and obviously tactical bombers have that really big area of effect damage, then you could take the railgun fight, which is very unforgiving, just kind of smash your opponent down, and it'd be a very effective transition. So let's see what he's going to do here. Yes, excellent. Good, Anakin, good. You only killed 3 units. Okay, well, I guess bombers are just not as good as they should be, but... okay, you know what's happening? I'm thinking of A-Games patch, where they're actually, like, mega insane if you use them right. But still, the same thing still kind of applies, and as you can see, Happy Cat going to be taking this railgun war, even though he didn't have the numbers. So that was a very effective transition there. He did lose the bomber. That's kind of to be expected with how many missile batteries there were, but he gains a lot of time. But he's going to discover now that the soldier is getting shot by an AAV over here, and that's going to take time away from him. He's going to have to deal with that now. But, I would say that was pretty effective. Shrike, having made another support cruiser, is ready to do militarize his carrier here, and actually he's moving into LAV fabrication. I think he should stick with railguns here, railguns and anti-air, but, and 2 bombers on the queue now for Happy Cat. I guess that makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna get bomber tech, you're gonna make him, but... no, yeah. I think, yeah, I think Shrike is still in a very good position right here. Mostly because of the fact that his opponent still is not on 3 bases and is having to reroute his army to go deal with that. He's totally occupying the extraction zone here. And the tire is actually beginning to run down just a little bit, but I mean, there's no way any extractions are going to go down here at least. That's a very good thing for him. Power Reserve 3 is on the way. This carrier pretty soon going to be able to put in some real value here, but there's no anti-air coverage here. Shrike seems to have forgotten about this. The LAVs can try, but they're not going to do very well. If the railguns come back now, this could be really bad for him. Another bomber going to come in on a run here. Gets a really good angle. There goes another 3. So there's only 1 railgun left in this area. So the army definitely advancing a little bit past where the anti-air could have it covered. The LAV's going to get a railgun, but that seems like the only value... well, they're not even actually going to get the kill, but yeah, it will get taken out eventually. It seems like the only value they're going to get now. The missile battery is here, so that's nice, but it's actually really hard to kill bombers if they're microed properly with missile batteries. That was a really good hit there, by the way, on the LAVs. He's doing a good job with that. Rifle grenade! Anyway, attack move getting used. You know what? Confessions from a long-time Homeworld player. I never use attack move, actually, in almost any game. Part of the reason is because I don't need to use it in Homeworld. Anyway, this carrier is going to get really boisterous here. Is that the right use of that word? I think it is. Just kind of run forward. There's still a missile battery here, so I'm not sure about this bomber coming out. Yeah, he's just going to dock after having fired his, launched his bomb against the carrier, which is actually not bad. Did quite a bit of damage there. But these 2 other AAVs were moved out earlier. I noticed that, but it seems like perfect timing, actually. And here they are now to distract the entire army, it seems, including that carrier. That might be a bit of an overreaction, but I don't know. It is kind of difficult to deal with this kind of stuff. But these bombers from Happy Cat are managing to pretty consistently keep this railgun war at bay, or railgun force at bay here. It's not able to push out, and the anti-air coverage once again is not there. I was gonna say 3 bombers can get killed here. Of course, that's not the case because, you know, bombers, but they does manage to get one really heavily damaged. This one too. Happy Cat going for LAV upgrades. I don't know how much that's gonna do for him, but whoa, whoa, man, whoa. Sorry, I must be tired. It's been a good day, but it also means it's been a long day, so it's to be expected. Anyhow, Power Reserve 4 finishing now. At this point, the carrier has enough range that it can really be difficult to fight with railguns. in this case, like having a probe. Oh, well, never mind. There's anti-air, isn't there? I also sometimes think it's worth it to mix in anti-air just for like probes. Missile battery gets cruelly denied there. And that opens up the door for the second bomber to also get shot by missile battery because one just came out. But still, I mean, the damage being done here is very serious. And Happy Cat with these bombers still winning the railgun war. Shrike not yet finding a way to deal with them. I think the way has got to be Sport Cruiser anti-air. You know the way. But Power Reserve 5 not going to hurt either. Oh, you know what's going on here? The main bases are getting mined out. Okay. How does this thing still have a fountain? What? What? That's kind of weird. Oh, but the carrier going to take a lot of damage here, actually. It's really getting hounded by these railguns. He's going to power up the armor. That's a good move. But this is not where you want to be. And that's really quite unexpected. But yeah, you know, it looks like the bombers are really kind of failing at their job every time they come by, but I mean, you can see pretty clearly the impact that these things have had in the game. Strike Fighters, I think, kind of not a good move here because their lower health pool means that they can be killed pretty easily by those missile batteries. And Happy Cat going to take this advantage to extract too. It's exactly what he needs to be doing. This is really a pretty good play from him here. But he wants to power up the army there to get those self repairs going on. Does Shrike. The cruise missile's ready to launch. It's going to be used immediately, and that makes a lot of sense because this railgun force could potentially kill this carrier. Needs to be dealt with pretty much as fast as possible. And that was very, very timely. You can see the carrier at 25% health. That's not much. I think it goes without saying. Happy Cat probably going to be a little bit annoyed. He'll feel like, yeah, I almost had him there. I think at this point from Shrike, Sport Cruiser anti-air would be the better move. Because you've got one that's kind of extra now. Or at least it will be pretty soon once that thing gets mined out. These guys can get salvaged, by the way. So he can move out into the front line and you still have a Sport Cruiser on all of your bases. And it's much more effective than missile batteries are. And it's also, you won't have to keep making these missile batteries which keep dying. So I think Sport Cruiser anti-air would be the better move here. But missile batteries could work for him too. These two base... No! No! Why are you going that way? Oh dear. I don't like that at all. Don't like that at all. Actually, Shrike's still moving out with his carrier here. I think he ought to stay back, but... Maybe he still expects he has some momentum here. Yeah, I'd say you ought to use the carrier's self-healing and have it back here to get healed. Okay, well, yeah, okay, so he's going to move the Sport Cruiser over here. He left, like, 600 CUs over there. That's not a big deal. And these guys are all just going to get retired, so... missile batteries were clumped quite badly. One bomber does get taken out, but the missile battery goes down also. Strike Fighters are just going to come in here and they can do whatever they want. Like I said, Sport Cruiser anti-air probably would have been the better choice. This is another reason for it. And Logistics Module's getting taken out too, but fortunately for Shrike, he's not anywhere close to fleet cap. Ooh. Okay, he is going to move back. That seems like a suspicious move to me, because that's really dangerous to move your carrier out that far. Okay, look at that, Sport Cruiser anti-air. Good. Should have had that a bit earlier, I think. Would have saved the lives of some brave salvager operators. Oh, it's disgusting. But yeah, I don't like how Happy Cat is moving his carrier out here. If Shrike saves up the money for a cruise missile, he can take out all these railguns, and then this carrier suddenly is looking very exposed. That's got to be the move for Shrike. In fact, I would salvage like this railgun to get that. Oh, Shrikey, my boy, you're playing it real close to the chest here. You gotta get the money for that cruise missile quick. He's gonna have it though. All right. And once the cruise missile comes down here, this should be pretty good for him. Okay, there he goes. Can't see exactly where just yet, but it's pretty far actually. Not the best shot, but it'll still do pretty well. Only 3 railguns survive, but I think Shrike is gonna go down here actually. It's the Strike Fighters that are doing so much damage to him. Now Sport Cruiser anti-air is gonna be finished pretty quickly here. But one Sport Cruiser, not gonna have that much potential here, is it? And also, there's still railgun shooting here, and they're gonna hit that sport cruiser now. Oh, looks like Shrike gonna actually GG out right here. But he knows he's gonna get killed, so he's, yeah, there you go. Happy Cat's actually gonna win this one. That's really quite surprising. I think the bomber transition was really effective for him. You know, we usually don't see fighter and gunship come out that late in the game, but maybe recognizing that he's not in a particularly good spot, you know, he's, well, let's mix it up. What a nice comeback. I'm very pleasantly surprised by that. Why don't we go to map 2 here? So, Happy Cat, you're doing a good thing. I would say, however, you ought to try to get onto your eco a little bit faster so that you can avoid this kind of stuff in the future. Because then you won't have to come back at all. You'll just kind of come, I guess. I came, I saw, I expanded. You know what I'm saying. So, map 2 going to be the shallows here. I think my internet's actually working now, so why don't we check out on Battlefy whose pick this was going to be. Oh gosh. Trying to use the Steam browser here at the same time as you're loading in a map is painfully slow. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Yeah, I know they're spawning in. I gotta look at this. Standings in the qualifier, please. Okay, it was Shrike's pick first. He placed 6th. Happy Cat placed 7th in the qualifier, right? So, in that case, this map here is going to be the Happy Cat's pick. Perhaps that's a good one against Shrike. I'm trying to think about it myself. Obviously, we know Shrike likes to go for those early LAVs. This can be a map where they're not really as effective as you'd expect. So that could be one reason to go for them. I'm literally managing files as this game is going here. I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's get into the see what the players are doing right here. So Happy Cat went for that really early LAV production timing. He's made 7 like he has 7 salvagers anyway, but he's not making any LAVs. No, I think he is now. Hold up. Oh, he did it too. I can tell just by how many CUs he has. He's queued up like 8 units over here. And then Shrike, meanwhile, going to go into AAV fabrication early. So this is something we haven't seen from him just yet in this series. Probe going to get taken out here, which is a good pickup. Well, it should anyway. Yeah, it will. That's a good pickup for Shrike because he doesn't want his opponent to see what he's going for too early. So Sport Cruiser is on the way now. So this is going to be SC first into AV Fab, I suppose. Which can be very powerful, of course. So I like actually doing them the other way around a little better. You get the Sport Cruiser on the way, and then you get LAV Fabrication, and then you get AAV Fabrication after that, of course. Turret getting set up here for Happy Cat. Shrike definitely wants to back away from this. He's going to take a lot of damage on the Space Runner, probably lose it, I would say. Oh, don't set a turret down here, man. I think the base runner is going to die before the turret is deployed, yeah. That was definitely a waste of CUs right there. Okay, Sport Cruiser's out. Yeah, he's going to move his carrier out there. And AAVs are on the queue now, as well as carrier production upgrade. And all his opponents got right now is LAVs, so that could definitely be very effective. This turret here won't be too hard to take out either, because it's very conspicuously close to the line of sight blocker. It's like one AV can smoke here and then get on top of it to fight it. So AAV's coming out here now. He's also getting the upgrade for them pretty much immediately. I like that choice a lot. I think it even gives them more health, doesn't it? No, it's just armor. But still, if you can increase the survivability of a unit that quickly, it's usually better. Especially if you're going to use them in your opponent's base, you know, like if they live longer, they do more damage. It's pretty obvious, right? Probably wants to make a second here. So you're going to move out through the middle, find that turret, take it out, and then not really anything standing in their way of the base here. AAV fabrication is finished. I imagine we're going to see Happy Cat start making some of those once he sees these guys, but he might just want to tech into Railgun Fab. Yep, there you go. 50 seconds though, that's a long time. I think he definitely wants to make some AAVs. Not to kill these things, obviously he's not going to, but to smoke off the resources to buy a little bit more time. Meanwhile, LAV is going for a bit of a run by here, and it's going to be a good one. So Shrike going to want to bring this AAV back and then smoke up the expansion. Or, well, it's not an expansion, it's actually the main. But I think this AAV is going to die before he has a chance to fire the smoke off, which is, always seems a bit counterintuitive, right? But that smoke does get popped, so that's good. And more AAV is going to be coming out here pretty soon. Who's getting shot at, actually? Can't really tell who they're shooting at. Well, it looks like these salvagers now as the smoke begins to clear. AVs are here though, they can smoke again, and they probably should. There you go. And that attack is going to be repelled without too much difficulty. If you look on the other side, one AV got it down to about like 1/3 health by the turret. There's nothing really here to stop them. The carrier can go for a block though, which is always nice. And actually, oh, well, I didn't notice this. This is going to cause a lot of eco damage because the carriers come down here without a support cruiser to hold the fort. That's not good. In fact, I really think he ought to have a support cruiser by now anyway, like regardless of whether or not he's going to have to hold off this attack. AVs probably wanted to smoke this and buy a little bit more time, yeah, because these things are going to get cleaned up now. But, yep, there you go, there's a smoke. And that's good, it's going to pull his opponent out just even a little bit further, just waste a little bit more of his time. Yeah, there's no support cruiser out. So this has Shrike being very considerably ahead at this point. He's going to go into railgun fabrication once again, start pumping them out. And his strategy here did not work last time, but it really was not because the strategy was flawed. It was just he didn't quite execute it right. I'm trying to think of actually what he should have done there. Support cruiser anti-air was obviously one of the right moves, right? But I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Bomber's one of those units that you see infrequently enough that it's somewhat difficult to counter them. They certainly going to go down here, but it does extract the artifact. That's really all that Happy Cat wanted, I believe. So that's happy for him. Hey, that's his name. Yeah, both players just macroing, building up railguns here. And the defender ought to have the advantage on this map. What Shrike can do is occupy this hill right here, and you get... You kind of get like control of this part of the map, like here, which stops your opponent from extracting. And then you can usually extract on the other side. If the railguns come out here, you can push in. Yeah, he's going to move out with these 3 AAVs here. They're probably going to want to get behind this hill right here. Can they actually hide behind that hill? Maybe not, especially if the railguns come up there. Not sure how there's line of sight through this hill here, but yeah, Shrike does have high ground here, so he's going to take this fight without too much difficulty. This guy with 1 HP gonna run for his life. Watching both of his buddies get killed. He got like shot in the legs like 5 times, I guess. And now it's a bunch of LAVs coming out here for Shrike, which could be good. I tend to notice he goes for all 3 of the units, LAVs, AAVs, and railguns, which for some reason seems a little bit wrong to me, but it actually seems like it could work pretty well. I'm not totally sure. But generally, when I'm playing, I usually just go for 2 of the units, like AAV railgun or LAV railgun. LAV AAV doesn't really work very well, but you can go for it in the early game, you know what I mean? Yeah, these rails up here being on the high ground, taking very good fights right there. Shrike has got definitely the upgrade advantage, but they both have mag accelerator. And he's gonna run forward and try to kill those railguns now. Actually, smoke gets popped on them in a pretty nice way. I wonder, is this guy showing? No, I don't think so. But actually, quite a bit of carrier damage being done here. I don't know if that's actually gonna prove to be very relevant. But the railgun fight is starting to really go Shrike's way. Mostly based on the fact that they can shoot through the ground there, but you know. And this is looking very good now for Shrike. I believe he's got momentum and he can just push till the end. But he could also go for another sport cruiser and just play eco at this point. He knows he's got his opponent hemmed into his last base, so... The AAVs were used a bit sacrificially, and so the LAVs have a chance of running by now, but they're targeting the rails first. Seems like a good move, but in reality they want to clear the field of these LAVs so they can get in there. So that's a little bit unfortunate now. Let's see, and Shrike going for anti-air. Who can blame him based on the last game, right? Seems like last game he got air transitioned at a time he wasn't expecting, and that basically won the other player the game. So him going for missile battery fabrication, I think here is completely justified. It's very safe. Why not be safe if you're already winning, right? Cares about half health, having to back away so far. He's actually long distance mining off of his only base. But he has gotten LAV superiority right here. AAVs are coming, but they're gonna be somewhat delayed. Still though, these LAVs targeting railguns before they target other LAVs, and I think that's gotta be a mistake. Yeah, I really don't like that. I think targeting the LAVs when you have this much upgrade advantage would have been very good. You clear them all out, then you can start clearing out those railguns. That's one reason why I usually go for one type of unit, is then I don't have to worry about like upgrade disadvantages and stuff. And you know, your LAVs can't just clear mine out and then move on to the railguns. They'd have to deal with AAVs first. Once again, being used very sacrificially. See this? Not sure I like that so much. Railgun's gonna come streaming in here. Smoke is popped on Happy Cat's railguns, and the railguns from Shrike are able to shoot at the carrier now for a little bit longer. But still, sacrificial AAVs, yeah, I mean, they're gonna get killed eventually here. Could take some time, though. And Shrike's got enough of an LAV blob that he can definitely take this fight. But I think it can be done a little bit more effectively. At the end of the day, though, I don't think it's going to matter too much here. Shrike definitely in a very dominant position, to say the least. I think this has got to be a carrier kill. He finally recognizes it. He's going to move up onto this hill here. I say finally not to be, like, demeaning, but that perhaps he finally does have the numbers that he can just push up here. Because this carrier does have significant weapons, but... And I think that's going to be a pretty clean carrier kill. Let me in fact just load in the next map's replay. Yep, there you go. So this time, I think Shrike did really the same thing, he just did it a little bit better, and I'm actually very happy to see that. Oh, I've gotten an achievement for killing carriers as Coalition. Yeah, you know, kind of. Anyway, nicely done, I would say, very nicely done. Let's go ahead and check out Game 3, shall we? This is going to be the ace match, and it will be Shrike's map pick. What should he pick for Game 3 here? I think something where there's attacking potential, like... Maybe College Teeth would be good for him. Maybe the Boneyard. It's gonna be though. It's gonna be Galzian territories. Interesting. So that's an interesting move because this is Shrike's pick. Yeah, he picked this map here, and this is the one that you tend to pick if you want to go for like an upset win. Because if you get the low ground spawn, you might not be happy about it. That's curious. Oh, excuse me. Still pretty tired. Yeah, that's very curious there. But Shrike has the high ground spawn, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about this, I would say. So, Happy Cat doing the same type of build, LAV Fab first.
Weapon range systems currently active. Salvager online. Rally point set.
LAV Fabrication going to come up for Shrike here, but I think he's going Sport Cruiser first, actually. I think we saw him do this last time. Whereas the Happy Cat probably going to start building some. Yep, there you go. The Space Runner once again moving to about the same location over here on these second and third bases. Actually, no, he's not going to go Sport Cruiser first. He'll start building some LAVs. So he's going to mix it up a little bit here. Having the high ground spawn, he should be able to do this pretty nicely. Because even the Strike Craft fight tends to be pretty manageable, like much more manageable for the high ground spawn player than the low ground one. Interesting shader issues on this hill here. I remember, I think the first tournament that I played, I kind of got caught off by that because I didn't realize that like how much high ground there is here, because I was looking at it from this perspective, but there's a lot of high ground there, right? Like this whole thing is, if you're up on this hill, you can get high ground on anyone down there. But if you're, you know, right here, you don't get high ground on people here. In fact, they still can't get high ground on you. So I didn't realize how much of a defensible position that is, and I got killed pretty early in the Strikecraft war. You can check that one out. I think it's Artifact Cup 9 or something. It should be on Magpie's channel. And then the game went on way longer than I was expecting, as it took him like forever to kill me. But I did go down eventually. Turret versus turret action going on here. This is always fun to see. Definitely want to be attacking the turret first of all. But Shrike having high ground, he'll take that one. And then if he pops his LAVs over... Oh, you definitely want to pop the LAVs here. Yep, there you go. Should take that Strikecraft fight without too much difficulty. In fact, he's on high ground, as you can see. But yeah, Shrike gonna take a pretty effective early game engagement right there. And he's got AV Fab a little bit before his opponent here. We check the resources. Both players ready to expand. Both players should expand, I think, but I believe the Happy Cat just queued up like 12 units, which is a little unfortunate. Who's canceled them now? So Shrike is going to expand then, but Happy Cat's starting to make AAVs. Maybe it's not a bad move if you know your opponent's got field control, just go ahead and make those AAVs first. But, and he's going to research AAV fabrication. But I think he's got to expand as fast as he can at this point, or else he's just going to start falling behind. And that little early game advantage in Desert Kharak can quickly spiral out of control. Obviously it can be wasted too, we've seen that several times, but if you're on that second base a little bit faster, just even a little bit, you can take like a crazy game. And Shrike is going to go for fighter and gunship rather than rails at the beginning here, which is always fun to see. I find it a lot more exciting than like the railgun fights. He's also got the armor upgrade that his opponent doesn't. And honestly, that could like turn the tide of a fight like this. Yeah. Is Happy Cat expanding just yet? No, not yet. Just based on the resource, I can tell you that. Oh, and he set down a turret here. Not sure what this really does for you, unless you're planning on getting run by LAVs in that location pretty soon. Sorry, just changed orientation. This is Happy Cat's base, of course. Oh, look at that. Turret's actually gonna do something. Looks like it's gonna save the base runner, in fact. But anyhow, Shrike gonna run in with some LAVs, see if he can do damage to the opponent's army, but he won't be able to get anything. But he is gonna see those railguns. That's important. He knows they're out now. And fighter and gunship fabrication is finished. Getting power reserve 1 is pretty interesting here. I'm not sure what's prompting that, especially because the RUs are going to be important for these Strikecraft. But There you go, another support cruiser. That's a move that I definitely agree with. And if he has a bit of a CU float, which he does, doesn't he? He can put down a turret somewhere to stop the AAV push. Railguns are very vulnerable to the strike fighters, but AAVs are not really. He may want to wait for that, though, until he sees that they're actually coming, to be fair. And if you look at the resources here, it looks like Happy Cat's still not saving up for Sport Cruiser, at least he's not doing it until now. So Shrike might be getting onto 3 base right as his opponent is getting onto 2. That makes the advantage even a little bit more defined.
Strike fighter online.
Or, oh, if his opponent is making LAVs and stuff now, maybe he's going to get onto 3 bases when his opponent is on 1. And that would be pretty fun. But not for the Happy Cat. I hope he's not planning on just moving this carrier out and like using it as a weapon here, because he should definitely just take the 3rd base. Doesn't necessarily know that though, but he could figure it out. And that's one reason why we like to send probes over here, is just get a feel for like what stage the game is in, right? But yeah, I'd like to see salvagers on that build queue just about now. He's also got 5 air units, which is usually what we come out with when we're first going to show them. Or at least as Coalition, that seems to be like kind of the meta. Okay, so he is moving his carrier into that economic position there. Okay, so Happy Cat is making support cruisers, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Good, good. Kill him. And Salvagers now, yep, gonna be coming out for Shrike. So both players a little bit slower than I think they could have been there, but Shrike definitely still gonna be up on 3 bases when his opponent is on 2. And that's not good for him, for Happy Cat that is. But those air units still have yet to be launched. I'd like to see them come out, see what they can do here. Because, you know, planes in the hangar are planes not used, yeah. Powers are 3 on the way now for him. And like, see, he sees that there's a railgun here and everything. Yeah, I would definitely be launching these things. What are these guys doing, by the way? I don't know. Actually, LAV's kind of getting chased out here. The base runner can save them by putting a turret down, perhaps. Well, the artifact is going to get scored here. But the base runner will probably go down afterwards. But look, these railguns are so exposed. Like, the strike fighters need to get launched here. They're so, they have so much potential, but they're just kind of getting stuck there. And he knows about this turret, too. He shouldn't push out there with the LAVs. There's just no reason when you can take it out with the strike fighter so much easier. Where are those strike fighters? Oh well. One thing I've noticed about Shrike, by the way, he never makes base runners. I think that's something he should incorporate in his play a little bit more. So every time you have that initiative or that field control, just go ahead and extract some artifacts. It's always a good thing to do. So where's he moving his carrier now? Because, oh, it's so juicy. And there's also no Sport Cruiser anti-air, you've got to expect. 6 strike fighters? I mean, you can take out a Sport Cruiser with that, I think. I could be totally wrong, actually, but you can at least do eco damage, right? He's actually going to leave his base a little bit undefended here as well. Doesn't know about these LAVs over here.
Light attack vehicle in service. Light attack vehicle on.
I think he could be about to eat it in some ways. And this is the ace match, you know, you can't be doing stuff like this in an ace match. He's got the potential to even kill his opponent's carrier here. He's just got to do something, you know what I mean? But yeah. Support cruiser are going to get killed here for sure. At this point, Shrike kind of has to move into an all-in strategy because this is going to be some really massive damage here, and there's really no way to mitigate it either. Well, actually, strike fighters, he could be using those, couldn't he? But he's making more of them, but like, what have they really done for him so far? But yeah, it's definitely a base trade here, but this is good for Shrike because of how close his carrier is. Second support cruiser going to go down here pretty soon now for Shrike. Okay, Strike Fighter's finally getting launched, and they're basically just being used against this carrier. So it looks like Shrike's idea here is to just kill off his opponent's carrier immediately. In that case, probably wants to power up the weapons. Yeah, there you go. Cruise missile gonna get used on the carrier, does a lot of damage to it. AVs are smoking, which is very good. That's what you want to see. But Strike Fighters actually ignore smoke. And the upgrades aren't really here for the Happy Cat, so I think actually he's gonna go down here. But I still think that was pretty needlessly risky. Strike Fighters could have just gotten you field control, and you could have done this without losing, you know, like 2 support cruisers. It's gonna be fine for him, he'll win, and he'll take the series indeed, go on to the finals here, but I don't know. I feel like that was not really the best play in the end there. Did end up winning though. Imagine it was a bit of a surprise tactic, and it worked for him, so that'll do. But I don't know. I can't say I really recommend such strategies. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you probably on Monday for the lower bracket finals.